Now, I'm not gonna lie, these two players facing off against each other is definitely my favorite rivalry in StarCraft 2. There's many pro gamers that face off against each other regularly, but these two, I mean, I've casted them so many times and they always deliver. So I think today it's time for another top tier game of StarCraft 2. Now, I've actually got the numbers for you as far as like games played goes, but let's get started first off by introducing them. So spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Romanticide and playing with the red Zerg drones from Italy, we have the world champion of StarCraft and his name is Reynor. Now, I know I've been casting quite a lot of Reynor games recently on the channel, but the thing is, right, my goal is to try and cast really epic games of StarCraft and bring you the best games I can find. And generally speaking, I mean, if you're the world champion, you play good games of StarCraft. It is what it is. I can't really help it. His opponent in the opposite corner, likewise another player that I've casted a lot this year so far with the blue SCVs from France. We're of course looking at Clem's main command center. Okay, so both of these players, they're still pretty young, right? So I've decided to look at the games that they've played since the 1st of January 2019. Now keep in mind, Reynor doesn't really participate in a whole lot of online events that are like weekly tournaments. Clem plays in like, for example, the ESL Open Cups pretty much all of the time. Sometimes even in multiples every single week, so there's a lot of Clem games floating around the internet. However, Reynor, he usually seems to focus on the bigger events, especially over like the last year or two. So, since 2019, they have played a grand total of 52 series against each other. Now, here's what's really fun. 25 of those series went in favor of Reynor. 27, of course, then went in favor of Clem. 82 maps in favor of Reynor. And 83 maps in favor of Clem. So, it's really been almost like a coin toss. I mean, obviously, StarCraft is the furthest from a coin toss you can find. But when it comes to, like, betting, I suppose, right? If you were to be a betting man, I have no idea who I would put my money on. So this particular game was played as part of the upper bracket finals from DreamHack Masters Europe. I believe this was played a little while ago, actually. So I think it's like a month and maybe a week or so. Something along those lines. It's a bit of an older game, but I mean, it's a ZVT on Romanticide. These games are almost timeless. We're still playing this map, of course, as well in the current map pool of StarCraft 2, and it shouldn't really matter all too much as long as we're on the same patch. I don't think it really matters. Either way, the reason why I bring that up is because in late June, and like I would say like the first week, maybe the first week and a half or so, Clem was really having a very hard time. So Clem was considered to be the highest player, or the highest ranked player in the world on Aligelek. Is he gonna get the tumor? Oh, he really wants it. He was considered to be the highest ranked player in the world on Aligelek. However, he came plummeting down. He was losing a lot of games in series to players he really shouldn't be losing against. So for like a week and a half, 2 weeks or so, Clem really was, I don't know what was going on there. Over the last week, it seems like he's once again doing really well. So we'll see where it's gonna go in the future. I'll keep you posted, of course, going forward. But I guess it happens sometimes where maybe you're a little bit burned out, or maybe like, I don't know, real life is getting in the way, or your sleep schedule is kind of... Maybe he was enjoying those French Merlots or something a little bit. I don't know, dude. Like, I'm not sure. There's many reasons why someone can have a worse performance for a little bit. Now, Clem did power through it, by the way. So, if I would personally, right, maybe this is me having a little bit of, like, StarCraft 2 ladder anxiety, right? But if I would be, like, playing at the pro level, and I would be losing games I wouldn't, you know, normally lose. There's a lot of hypotheticals, I know. But I would probably take a bit of a break, because I'd be concerned about my ranking going down, right? Because especially since a lot of people are going to be talking about it. I mean, I'm one of those guys that's talking about it right now. But Clem didn't do that. He just kept on playing. He kept on powering through, just grinding it out the way that he's been doing for years. Just, yeah, grind like dozens of games in tournaments every single week. And, well, it seems to have worked out for him so far. Anyways, Reynor did make a big group of Zerglings here. He's sending them towards the natural expansion of Clem. This is kind of a neat little timing because, indeed, this catches the Terran player right as the Hellions are on the other side of the map. SCVs are pulled away as well. Hellions right now are coming back home. Gets a full scout as well of the main base right now, of course, of the Terran player. And, well, you know what? That was a weird group of Zerglings. Not something we normally see. And I don't even really know if that's a net positive right there for our Zerg, but there's no denying that this is going to make follow-up pushes here for Clem quite a bit harder. So one thing, of course, that Clem is very fond of is sending medevacs of units to the other side of the map. And at this point, I mean, there's no, units really to put in a medevac and send to the other side of the map. At the very least, I guess follow-up timing attacks are going to be quite a bit weaker. So despite the fact that that was not really a net positive there for our Zerg, I do think it's probably going to help him out moving forward. Romanticide, of course, a macro-focused map. I've been casting a lot of longer games on this map recently. Clem has got himself the 3rd CC taken right now. Reynor already brought up the 4th. Interestingly enough, he's gone right away for the low ground expo. Still, a lot of Zerg players are taking this base as their 3rd instead. And then sometimes this is the 4th, but Reynor likes to take this one instead and then go for the expansion to the right of it. It turns out when you have really good creep spread, so look at the amount of queens. He's 11 queens into the game right now. Yeah, when you have really good creep spread and you can cover this part of the map, it's pretty easy to hold on to the 4th base. Whereas if you take this one first and then the one on the low ground, you have to spread creep in many more directions. I mean, theoretically, it's probably fine, but it's harder to actually pull off. Maybe that's also why Reynor actually went for that Zergling run by, just to try and like slow down the opponent and make this push hit a little bit later. Combat shield, +1/+1. The creep is so far out. Yeah, Clem was not expecting it to be all the way out here. Anyways, combat shield finished up. Stimpack, of course, is here. There's no medevacs. Okay, I was going to say, those medevacs are trailing a little behind. I think they're fresh out of the starport. You do need to make sure you have some of those. Either way, bailing speed, of course, with the Zerg opener is going to be pretty late. Clem knows it, so he's not really too concerned about it for the time being. Couple overlords. Okay, that's nice. It's actually very annoying to lose overlords in this stage, or at this stage in the game. These were still floating a little bit further forward. Main reason for that is probably the Hellion shenanigans, right? So usually you position the overlords a little bit in front of the creep. So say, for example, the Hellions drive around. You want to have an overlord over here if your creep is limited to that location. So you can see the units from coming in. Or you can see the units coming in, rather. So you can actually position your queens in the right place at the right time. Clem finished up the armory. Should be able to go into the 2/2 upgrades pretty soon. He's now also hitting the opponent in the face right here with a couple of Widow Mines. Clem, of course, very good with the Widow Mines. It's one of those units that, if you're a weaker player, can definitely accidentally blow up the Terran army as well, because they do deal friendly damage. Generally speaking, that doesn't really seem to happen to Clem all too often. So there's 2/2 coming up. Same thing on the other side of the map, though. +2/+2 will probably get started here very soon for Reynor. Alright, so clean defense so far by the Zerg player, as expected. That's one of the reasons why these guys keep playing epic games. It's not that Clem isn't trying to end the game early. It's just that Reynor is really, really hard to beat in the earlier stages of the game, especially. A little bit of a skirmish over here. Widowmine decides to burrow behind the mineral line. Drones get pulled. Just barely manages to blow it up in time. Good control right here by Reynor. Very nice control. That's what I mean. Like, Reynor is not like... It's not like Clem isn't trying to end the games. It's just that Reynor is not really allowing him to get any work done. So already, 89 workers right now for the Zerg. He's going into a hive and he's going into a Hydralisk's den. Okay. Wouldn't be surprised at all if he goes for his... Ooh. Widowmine drop over here. Also cleanly defended. Wouldn't be surprised at all if he decides to go for that Lurker style. He's very good at that Lurker style. He's the one that popularized it. Not a lot of people seem to play it anymore these days, but if you can get Lurkers out, especially against this like style that Clem plays, they're really powerful. So the way that Clem usually seems to win his games against Zergs is by playing really good, right? But most of the time, that comes down to trying to out-multitask them and trying to outpace them. So he's extremely fast. Both of these players, actually. Look at the actions per minute already. This is probably only going to climb throughout the game, so they're already playing their absolute minds out. But usually the way that Clem wins is by overwhelming the opponent with stuff and multitasking. I think Lurkers are really, really good at preventing that from really happening. Because if you have like 3 Lurkers burrowed over here, 2 medevacs are not going to cut it. Like, you need to commit serious armies to be able to deal with that. So he's actually going double Lurker then? Maybe that's a mistake, or maybe he's feeling really confident about the scenario. Lurker dens are not cheap, but if he can get both upgrades done at the same time, maybe he can go for like a timing attack? I think it's a mistake, probably, but we'll see. Maybe it's intentional. Good back and forth here once again by Clem. Yeah, so this is what Clem does, right? So he clears out the creep, and then he pushes forward and backs off once again to the safety of either the Widow Mines or the siege tanks. So now the creep is gone. He's going to station out here for a little while longer. And now when the reinforcements come up, he's going to continue pushing in this direction, clearing out the creep and then almost like suffocating a base over the course of several minutes. Medevacs tried to unload in the top right-hand corner. Didn't happen. Well, it did happen, but the Zerg cleaned it up. Okay, there's the ranged upgrade for Lurkers. 4 Lurkers coming up as well. Did he cancel the second? No, it's right over there. He doesn't have enough gas to make all of it. Ooh. Let me back off for just a sec. Random Widow Mine drop. I didn't see it. Reynor did. And this is what Clem was looking for a little while ago already. 14 drones end up going down. The problem is 14 drones at the 11-minute mark is not the same as 14 drones at the 6-minute mark. Something that Reynor can probably replace. Well, I mean, if this pressure keeps going, it's going to be very difficult to commit the resources and the time to building up new workers. But now the Lurkers are out. Building up new workers is what I said, right? Did I say building up new Lurkers? I'm not sure. Workers, Lurkers. It's a bit of a tongue twister. All right. Notice as well, the creep is not being laid out once again here in the center of the map nearly as quickly as it did earlier. There is a very large group of Lings and Banes here on the left side of this planetary fortress that's currently unsuspecting. Large Terran army moving in as well, but at the same time, while that army is moving across, it looks like the planetary is in a little bit of trouble. SCVs run away. Huge Widow Mine hit right there. Kills a bunch of those Banelings, but it doesn't matter because there's enough to kill the planetary fortress. Lurkers in both situations, or in both battles over here. One group up north, one group down south. Or at least there was a group down south. Now it's just a singular one. And this kind of like alleviates some of the pressure from those Lings and Banes, right? They always needed to be there for the defense. They obviously still kind of need to be there for the defense, but at least you can commit some of them to run-bys. Now, oh my god, he even sends the Marines back right there. Puts the Marauders in the front to try and soak up some of that damage. Nicely done. There's a whole load of Widow Mines in the center of the map. I would love to see those cleaned up. Planetary is acquired in the center. Okay. So one thing you may have noticed with recent games that I've casted on this map. Ooh. Okay, that was almost terrible. One thing you may have noticed is that the center base is pretty much never mined. He sees it right now for the first time, and there's a siege tank, a planetary, there's this that's going to be very difficult to break. Speaking of difficult to break, there's no way, Clem, right? Are you really going to... Oh my god, yeah, he's just going to try. I mean, he got a bunch of the Lurkers, but there's more Zerg army on the back of that. Okay. I guess this is sending a message right here to Reynor that you should not be leaving your bases just defended with Lurkers, because Clem is apparently a madman who's not afraid to just... apparently reduce his army count to such low numbers that every single one of these Terran units has a private medevac. Another Widow Mine drop attempted, but it looks like the attack has been pushed back. Alright. So Clem has been trying to win off of like 3 to 4 command centers. It's not really happening so far, so now all of a sudden we see him exploding in the amount of bases. Lurkers are burrowed, and that means that this base is going to be gone in a heartbeat. At the same time, there's also that push down south still happening. Those units never returned back home. He decides to even stem forward and pick off the Lurkers before, well, picking up the remainder of the ground units. It's only like 4 units that actually made it out of there. Ugh, that's an expensive set of losses right there for Clem, but at the very least he's going to be able to keep those medevacs alive, which is the most important thing. Alright. While we've been going back and forth, the entire top right-hand corner is once again acquired here by Reynor. 3 relatively, well, this one's kind of low, I guess, but 2 relatively fresh bases. Terran right now being pushed in. But this siege tank count over here is real nice. So he's actually switching from a Widowmine-based army into a siege tank-based army. I think that's probably due to the Lurkers. Once again, Planetary Fortress on the low ground gets blown up by a couple of Banelings and Zerglings. Base in the center also in some trouble. A few Lurkers apparently tried to be annoying there. But Reynor decides to get rid of those. At the very least, bring them back home. Lurkers, of course, pretty expensive. There you go. Love seeing the transfuses. Man, these guys are playing so well. It's so difficult. Every once in a while, I see a YouTube comment of someone who felt inspired by seeing these guys play. And then they decide to go on the ladder themselves and give it a try. Only to realize that feels like you are learning how to walk all over again. It's been a while. Alright, so this little Zergling group, actually, I didn't think it was going to be so successful, but that was a good couple of siege tanks there, and a few other units as well going down. Trading minerals for gas, pretty much always good. Terran has got a lot of DPS in this army right now, and the base in the top right-hand corner gets picked off in a matter of seconds. The ghost count is growing. We're now up to 9 ghosts. As many ghosts as marauders. And more are just about to pop. Still, Terran has got very little money, to be honest. Main is run out. Natural is going to run out very soon. Third base is running low. It's mostly the center base that's bringing in the dough, as the kids say, right? It's the first time I've ever used that word in a cast. He's going for the base at 12 o'clock position as well. Once again, dude, these Widow Mines? Oh my god, how did he... Okay, very impressive splits. A couple of siege tanks over there on the high ground, forcing some of these units to back off. This Widow Mine also has 10 kills. There's no way you're going to push into that. Right, Clem? I mean, that's what I said earlier, but... I think it's time to, like, go down to the low ground. Mr. Reynor. Alright, there we go. Didn't think he had any other army units over here. Okay, there's even more Lurkers. Yeah, he's just going mass Lurker. Okay. Gets a couple of the ghosts. Ghosts are extremely powerful units. So the way that little... Like, you see, like, the channeling ability that they're casting here? This is something that Clem is individually clicking from every single one of the ghosts on one of the Lurkers. It's a skill called Steady Targeting. And the way it works is that it needs to channel for like a second and a half or so. And if it does, it deals a tremendous amount of the unit, or a tremendous amount of damage to the unit that it's being targeted. However, if the ghost takes any damage while channeling, the ability gets cancelled. So, this is why we sometimes see like infestors added into the mix. Like one fungal growth will not only deal damage and slow down the ghosts and stuff, but it will also cancel any channeling abilities, which is huge. So it's an interesting dynamic between the two Lurkers, or the two units rather, the Lurkers and the Ghosts. Yeah, and while Clem is trying to headbutt with the base over here, is not really happening. Reynor's like, okay, that's fine for me. You're gonna spend all that time on the other side of the map. I'll just go ahead and send a couple of Lurkers to your side. Since your Ghosts are now, well, I mean, I was gonna say, since your Ghosts are on my side, maybe this is gonna work out. There's quite a few reinforcements over here, though. Do they have the cloaking field upgrade? I guess for now they don't. Couple of Banelings getting some work done. Okay, nicely pushed. Few units down south as well. Cleared up right there by Reynor. And Reynor all of a sudden seems to be in the driver's seat of this game. It's just that this Terran army is still growing and it's getting quite a bit better. A few Vipers are added into the mix now too here for Reynor. Okay. He didn't actually start up the +3 infantry armor upgrade, which is huge. Now, massive splits! Oh my god! Those splits were so good! That was so easy to lose all of those ghosts there. And in the end, I don't think he lost, well, barely any. So, this is important. Clem did forget one of the armor upgrades. I would not mind seeing the +2 damage output as well for the Hydras and the Lurkers. Lurkers deal a tremendous amount of damage without those upgrades, but more damage is better than less damage. There's a couple of Vipers getting sniped out of the skies. Alright. The ghost count is so high. Yeah, we're at 22 ghosts. At the same time, while this is all happening, though, Zerglings are still overwhelming the natural on the third base. Constant reinforcements. Oh, I love this. Luckily, Reynor picked up on that as well. Realizes that it was a bit of a trap. A couple units on the high ground trying to snipe the Zerglings that might go after that siege tank. Base in the top right-hand corner. He's trying... Wait, are they trying to become next-door neighbors? He's trying to take the base in the top right? Well, I guess the expansions on the bottom left have been constantly denied. I think I would love to see Reynor taking the base all the way in the bottom left. Because I've got a feeling that this expansion, yeah, is going to be lost very soon. Okay. So besides the really powerful spells, right, that these ghosts have, they're also very powerful. They don't have stim packs, but other than that, they have more damage, they have more health. They're just very tanky units overall. Still though, dude, Reynor keeps fighting. Goes now for the planetary fortress in the center of the map, and that one will be picked off in a heartbeat. Clem, of course, always has the tendency to put all of his units on the other side of the map. Kind of in the same way that, like, Parting plays Protoss, you know? Like, he's pretty much always got Stalkers and stuff on the other side. New expansion immediately acquired here. What a battle. These guys are going back and forth. Look at the actions per minute. Slowly climbing on both sides. Ooh. Okay, this time around, Clem is like a second army at home. Rather than having two armies to fight with on the other side of the map, he's got a large army at home. I think he's trying to grab himself another base. I think this bottom left needs to be acquired, man. Reynor is starting to run out of money. Yeah, he's gone for the base in the center, okay. But this base is already oversaturating. High yield gas over there, that's something. Bottom right-hand corner scanned right now as well. I think Clem agrees with me. Changeling right there, pretending to be a Marine. Additional command centers are coming up right now as well for Clem, so if he loses a bunch more SCVs, he doesn't have to replace those. He will just replace them with mules instead. Natural expansion has flown on over towards the low ground, so he's going to be able to mine this as well. Okay, so with Clem falling back, you can see that Reynor is also forced to fall back. Reynor doesn't really want to keep fighting on his opponent's side of the... Or he does want to keep fighting here on the opponent's side of the map. Oh my god. Hold position fire! Oh, that was so dangerous. He was holding position right there on the Lurkers. That way, they don't actually fire right at once. As soon as they see units entering the area. Regardless, medevacs are going to be forced to evacuate those Terran bio units. Couple of goes ready to lay down the snipes once again. Not gonna happen this time around. Clem even trying to mine out the fourth base here of the Zerg. There's not that much money remaining, but hey, some money is better than no money, I guess. Okay, well, these Lurkers have a mission though, and that is the base in the top right. Question is, since Clem is not sending any reinforcements to this base, is Reynor gonna have enough to actually hold on to this main army right now of Clem? That's looking quite threatening. Okay, that planetary is in a lot of trouble. But I'm a little bit concerned right here for the bases of the Zerg player. Yeah. The drones are already pulled away. Wouldn't mind seeing these mineral patches mined out as well. And actually reinforcing ghosts have made their way over. How many ghosts are we at? 24? Man, the guy has made so many ghosts this game. He's adding more. Yeah, Marines are overrated when you have the money for it, apparently. Okay, this is very expensive, though, for Clem to lose. I would love to see parasitic bombs right here on these medevacs, because they're constantly allowing this Terran army to retreat. Planetary comes up over at what was previously the fourth base of the Zerg. Bottom left-hand corner required. This base did not actually get picked off. So he's going to continue mining over there for a little bit longer. What was previously, though, the top right-hand corner from the Zerg player now no longer has any creep on it. And it's now all Terran. So sick. Ay, 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 ay. Huge surround once again being set up, but those medevacs have been the MVPs. How many medevacs have gone down? Only 7. Really not that many. Really not that many. How many ghosts have gone down? 24. 24, and we're currently at 20 with more coming up. Okay, we're coming up on 50 ghosts. We're coming up on 50 ghosts. Not bad. I said earlier that ghosts don't have Stimpack. Now I've got nightmares of ghosts having Stimpack, I'm pretty sure, tonight. That seems like a terrifying thing. Okay. The best counter that Zerg has against ghosts, most of the time, is Ling Bane. Ultras are a bad idea. Brute Lords are a bad idea. Infestors can work if you can land the fungal before they get EMP'd. But really, Ling Bane should be the way to do it. Ling Bane and Creep Spread. Oh my god. Look at this Overlord. I almost feel like seeing Mules mining over here is not even really there for the... it's not really there for the income. It's mostly just to rub salt in the wound. It's just Clem being a bit of a jerk. This is almost a bad-mannered planetary fortress over here with Mules mining. It's a mental hit more so than anything. Okay. Widow Mine. Massive hit. Yeah, it's a minefield out there, dude. This is exactly what Clem wants. Hydras will be able to pick off the units that get abducted. Natural expansion running dangerously low, but still lives for now. These traits are all, I think, really efficient for the Terran, right? Yeah. All of the traits, actually, throughout this game so far have been in favor of the Terran. And right now, we're getting to the point where, I mean, once this base runs out, Terran's still going to have a lot more money, right? Because the top right-hand corner is quite... yeah, quite juicy. There's a lot of money there still remaining. Okay, more Lurkers coming up. More Ghosts, of course, then coming up as well. How many Lurkers have gone down this game? 53. What in the world? So we're going up to what? Like 75 plus Lurkers? 75 plus Ghosts? I think that's what we're heading to at the very least. Okay, once again, base in the center right here on the other side of the map got picked off, but at the same time, Clem is also moving in on the kill for this base, although there's a ton of morph units just about to finish up. Turns out it's Lurkers and Banelings. Look at the mini-map right now. Like, it's a literal minefield out there. There's like random bits and pieces burrowed all over the map, making it hard for those Zergling run-bys to happen. Now, obviously, Clem would have loved to have all those units over here. Okay, finally the insult base will be killed. Lurkers trying to set up a surround. Snipes once again, though. Get rid of those. Nicely done right there by Clem. Okay, finally it looks like he's making a bit of an opening for himself to try and go after this base. That being said, a lot of those Terran units are dangerously low on health. The Medifex don't have a whole lot of energy on them either. So once again, he's going to be forced to pick up and get on out of there. This time around, there is an Overseer here, which is very critical. Whew. Okay. Those Widow Mines have been nasty this game. So nice. One random Widow Mine over here as well. I think that may have just been left over. Kills an additional 5 workers. Bottom left-hand corner is not mining anymore. Couple of Zerglings trying to be annoying. Is this the old main base? Yep, it's the old main base. Floating on over towards the bottom left. My god. Clem is, like, Zerging his opponent. Like, he's out-expending his opponent. Which is not something we normally see at this level of the game. Reynor's army supply is starting to plummet as the man has no longer got any income. Clem has been slowly but surely creating a foothold on the entire map. And while Reynor has been doing a relentless amount of counterattacks, the additional command centers that he's built have been lifted up and put down on the locations that were lost again and again and again. And while he's trying to get the juicy hits right here with the Lurkers, so far it hasn't really happened yet. There were a couple of moments where the Lurkers did a lot of damage, but Clem had a little bit too much and he played a little bit better. And with that, he does obtain the victory. Okay, so just because I'm curious, 5 lurkers at this point in the game, 11 ghosts. One more ghost is coming up, so effectively you have 12 ghosts. 43 have gone down. Okay, so that makes 55 ghosts. And then 75 lurkers. 75 lurkers in total in this game. That's crazy. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching today's video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the little bell icon so you get notified as soon as future videos go live. Today, I want to give a special shout out to the YouTube members. If you also want to support the channel directly, you can hit the join button right next to the subscribe button or use the link down below in the description of the video to support the channel if you want to. Completely optional, but maybe you're interested. There's a couple of perks you get as well. Anyways, for now, thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile, and I'll see you once again in the next one.